Hey everybody, it's Sunrider and welcome back to Sunrider Liberation Day, the Return chapter. Right then, last we left off, we're attempting a Saga's route, and I'm doing the stealthy version first. I got curious because whenever I'm doing this, I'm just going through in the background. Okay, let me rephrase. When I did it, the very first time I fought the drone in the room, with Sola, I don't think I did that on screen, I think I edited that out. I did the same thing, obviously I knew how to beat it. Out of curiosity, I went ahead and I tried to run away from the drone off screen and fucking gets crushed. Anyway, I killed Shields. Let's sneak back to the hangar to meet up with the Saga. The two of them wandered into the hangar, looking under the shadows of the Rider base again. Yeah. They found a Saga waiting for them beside the Blackjack's maintenance bay. A Saga de Ravia, returning from duty, Death flags had nothing on me. Welcome back, good to see you in peace. And now I have a lead thanks to what happened during the battle. Shields remembered what Saga was talking about. During the battle, the Liberty's shoulder maneuvering valve had fractured, sending it into an uncontrollable spin. While Chigara wasn't injured, his past self had sent her to the sickbay to be on the safe side. We kidnapped Chigara while she's sleeping in sickbay, and hide her somewhere for the duration of the battle. But we have another problem. But I thought all we had to do was prevent her from entering the mine stream. I haven't quite explained the entire situation yet. Sorry. The Pact forces under Fontana's command, scheduled to reinforce the combined fleet tomorrow, actually have been sabotaged by their prototypes. There's a Trojan virus embedded deep in their ship systems, which will allow their prototypes to hijack control of the ships by using their hyper brainwaves. Chigara will enter the prototype's mine stream, attempting to disrupt the control over Fontana's ships. However, during that time, the leader of their prototypes will embed herself into Chigara's mind, allowing her to assume control of Chigara during the award ceremony, even in the case that she's defeated. I honestly don't know the details of how the prototype's mind stream work, but from what I have heard from Lynn, their bodies can be controlled by their leaders at any time. Although the prototype being controlled can resist to a certain degree as well with a strong enough force of will. I'm impressed. You're really knowledgeable about the prototypes, Captain. I guess you've been studying your enemy. No, actually, I've learned all this through first-hand experience. The problem is that if Chigara doesn't enter the mine stream, then we'll all die tomorrow when the prototypes assume command of all Fontana's ships. Unless, if we were somehow able to send an encrypted transmission to Fontana now, warning him of the Trojan, then he could potentially start devising a countermeasure right now. At the very least, he could pull his forces back so that the prototypes can't use ships against us. There's an encrypted FTL communicator in my office. I could use that. Oh, and that's the problem solved, right? Shields couldn't help but feel guilty about leaving Saga in the dark about the most important snippet of information, that he and Claude did not belong to this timeline, and so he couldn't just waltz into his office and use the comm whenever he felt like it. Looks like I'm also going to have to figure out a way to sneak into my office while my other self's occupied and have a little chat with Fontana. Oh, another thing. So we gotta kidnap Chigara for another 24 hours, right? If we, just nab her from sickbay, people are gonna realize that she's gone missing, and then they'll come searching for her, which will just tip the prototypes off or onto them. Saga has a point. If Chigara just vanishes into thin air, people are gonna start asking questions. We've gotta keep the fact that we've kidnapped her a secret for as long as possible. How are we gonna do that? If there is a certain body double, you know. Yeah, okay. Aha, so we're gonna take Lynn from the brig, put her under, then swap out Chigara with Lynn in the sick base and nobody notices, eh? I like it. Now comes explaining the hard part. There's no other way to explain this plan out to a Saga without revealing the truth. A Saga, there's also something else I need to explain. Shoot! There's another Kato Shields on board this ship right now. You mean the prototypes have a copy of you too? Not quite. I'm not actually the captain you know. I'm actually from the future. That's how I know everything I just told you. To me, I'm just recounting what I've already lived through. Okay. That may be the most awesome reaction to learning about the truth. out of any of these characters, and of fucking course it would have to come from the crazy one herself. Fuck. That's like totally awesome, Captain. A real life time traveling hero. A real lifetime. A real life time traveler. Holy shit! I've dreamed of something like this happening, but I've never actually thought it would actually happen. Asaga hopped up and down like a hyperactive girl upon receiving something she'd always wanted for her birthday present. She's totally fine with it. There was no point even keeping it a secret. Can I get your autograph, Captain? I am not a celebrity, Saga. Actually, there's not quite the full situation either. There's also currently another Claude Trilio in sickbay right now, attending to Chigar as we speak. What? And it's like, Kata, you fucking dipshit. Come to think of it, Claude's position in this universe is no different from me. Of course it'd also be another past Claude Trilio wandering around this timeline too. Put your fucking arms down, girl. So, we'll have to devise a plan to kidnap Chigar out from under my nose without my past self realizing what's going on. Shield rubbed his head, said there was another wrinkle in his plan. We are past selves of time travel too, right? So why don't you just walk up to her and explain the situation? Sorry, Captain, but there are certain reasons why I can't do that. It might be related to the fabric of the universe tearing itself in half, and in fact, I think it'd be best if I remain out of sight of my past self for the duration of my stay here, for all our sakes. What the hell is Claude getting at here? Alright, then here's what we're gonna do. Claude is gonna go down to the brig and pretend she's this timeline's doctor. She'll convince the guards that Lynn has contracted a nasty case of the sarin measles and needs immediate medical attention. She'll then cart us a data Lynn to deck 0, handcuffed to a medical trolley. Meanwhile, I'll go into the sickbay and distract this timeline's Claude. I'm sure it'll be a piece of cake. Asaga will wait outside the sickbay until Claude arrives with Lynn. While I'm distracting your Claude, Asaga will sneak in and swap Chigara with Lynn. Once you grab Chigara, fall back to Crew Quarter 8, which is currently unoccupied. Secure Chigara there, and I'll wait for me to arrive. I'll try to beat a hasty retreat as soon as I can. Once we've regrouped, Claude will use the floor access hatch to relocate Chigara to maintenance room D4, while Asaga runs to the mess hall and calls either Kato's shields out on the comm. I'll then use that chance to sneak into my office and send Fontana the encrypted call. Did you get all that? Understood, Captain. Let's roll. Alright, good luck. And... okay. You're back. As you can see, the plan went exactly as planned. He saw Chigara tied to a chair, still unconscious from the sedation. Despite successfully kidnapping Chigara, Shields had no cause to celebrate. Doc, you're gonna have to explain yourself. He pulled out the holo. I found this in your old self's office. What is it? You've been communicating with the prototypes all this time, haven't you? There's messages on this holo giving away all our movements to the enemy, and even a medical report which you wrote completely invalidating the other report you gave us that Chigara was not a prototype. This is the main reason I wanted to actually record this part and steal the holo, was because I wanted to see her reaction, given that the a huge bulk, obviously, of the tension between Shields, Chigara, and Asaga stems from the fact that only Asaga believes, well, Ava at first did, but eventually gives up, but only Asaga really continuously believes that Chigara is a prototype, but of course has no way to back that up and kind of goes crazy from a combination of that and not being able to move on Shields. So it has a bit of an impact on her psyche. I wanted to see what happens. I mean that way. It's all true. I was aligned with the prototypes during this time frame. But that was to me in the past. Poor Claude's turned a new leaf now. I'm fighting for the good guys. Why were you working for the prototypes during this time period? A simple alignment of interest, that's all. I sought to run the galaxy around you, just like the prototypes. But after the Liberation Day massacre occurred, I realized their interests diverged. That's when I left them and took matters into my own hands. The prototypes wanted what? Yes, they sought to make you the leader of humanity, but to control you as a puppet so that they would rule in your stead. But let's just say that plan never quite panned out, due to division within the prototypes themselves. That's quite a lot to take in. I was fine with helping the prototypes accomplish that, but when the massacre happened, So you're saying basically that you used to work for the prototypes, but now you don't? That doesn't get you off the hook yet. I also found this inside the hollow. Shields opened the final file and showed it to Claude. The future can only be saved by destroying everything. What does this mean? Looks like you finally discovered the hard part of this mission. It's pretty complicated to explain, but the skinny of it is basically if we were to succeed in this mission and thwart the Liberation Day massacre, both this universe and the past universe where you come from, or where we come from, will collapse and cease to exist. As it turns out, the space-time continuum is really sensitive to time paradoxes and resolves them quite forcefully. Collapse. You mean we'll all die anyways, even if we win? Then what the hell's the point of any of this? Oh, you're thinking like a human. No, you will simply be wiped from existence. Dying is a natural phenomenon which must inevitably happen to all life forms, but is an entirely different concept from never existing at all. You traveled here from a future in which the Liberation Day massacre occurred in order to prevent it, but if you succeed in your mission, the Kato Shield who traveled back in time would cease to exist, as the massacre now never takes place. So then, who would be the man who stopped the massacre? A true logical conundrum, in other words, a time paradox. So, then is the future really impossible to change? The future can be changed. That's why I brought you here. At the end of this journey, you must make a choice. Either you stop the Liberation Day massacre from occurring and avert the tragedy which befalls upon everyone, and destroy this universe and the universe you came from, and replace them with the new universe you create with your decision, or you let the massacre occur, accept the tragedy. Then this universe will remain untouched and connect with your timeline. The universe you know will continue to exist, for the better or worse. You're telling me, if I go through with this, everyone I know will vanish from the face of the universe. But then a new universe with copies of those same people will be created? That's the gist of it, yes, and that is the reason why I brought you here. The key here is that the laws of causality does everything in its power to resolve time paradoxes, and it does that by deleting the universe where the paradox occurs, and then creating a new universe which can then logically continue to exist from that point on. In this case, you and everyone in this universe, as well as everyone in the universe where the massacre occurred, would be wiped from existence, thus eliminating the time paradox. But then a new universe, where the massacre never occurred, would be born, and everyone would still exist in that universe, completely oblivious to the fact a massacre even occurred, or that there was a desperate mission to prevent it. Then we can still save everyone, by creating a new universe where the massacre isn't prevented, but simply never happened at all. Ah, now I understand how this all works, Captain. Tee-hee. I don't understand any of this. My head hurts. But in the end, me right now is going to vanish from existence? But then I'll still be another saga who won't even know there was a mission to change the future? I'll just live on never knowing there was even an event like this Liberation Day massacre? Basically, in this circumstance, I intentionally sought to create a time paradox in order to manipulate the law of causality into destroying the universe you don't want, and into creating the one you do want. Well, it was pretty drastic, but it's not like there's anyone out there who can stop me, so tee. I must reiterate again, this expansion really makes me like Claude. I mean, fuck, it's like a pink kawaii Lovecraft with giant tits. It's like, what the Eldritch. Kawaii Eldritch. It's pretty convenient, this little crook that the law of causality has. I've been using it to create and destroy universes for, I forgot, I'm immortal. Who knows how long I've been doing this. Anyways, now that your choices have been laid out in front of you, I want to watch you choose Kato Shields here or the galaxy. That's the entire reason why I brought you here. All this so I can watch you more. I want to watch you run around fighting desperately against impossible odds. I want to see the tears in your eyes when you fail, the euphoria coursing through your veins when you're victorious. The bigger the stakes, the more tortured your dilemmas, the mightier your enemies, the more I want to see you fight, because it brings me so much pleasure seeing you in action. Wah! Claude's entire body flushed bright red as she squirmed her legs. I think I might have come a little. Claude, you bastard. She's toying with me just like always. Come to think of it, was there ever a moment when she wasn't playing me like a fiddle during the whole time I've known her? We're in this too deep right now. Because if this goes the way the other, the other occasion, initially the Ikari route when I went stealthy, I'd probably die if Claude wasn't with me. Tee-hee. Good call, Captain. I knew I could count on you. Aw, it's not too bad. You have a once-in-a-lifetime chance to change the future. You think Claude's such a generous god. Hee. Ah, but before you get excited with the knowledge that you have a deity on your side, you should now understand why I can't use my powers willy-nilly. It'd be a pain if I were to accidentally wipe out a universe or two from existence by causing an unintended time paradox myself. Every use of my power must be carefully planned in advance so that they bring about consequences I want. The results otherwise would not be pretty. So basically, I can't count on her to pull me out of the fire using her powers anymore. Alright, nothing productive is going to come out of fighting amongst each other. Whatever it is we're going to do from now, we have to work together to accomplish it. As if to make matters worse, Chigara began to stir in her sleep. Shield sharply inhaled in concern. Shit, Doc, how much longer is Chigara going to be sedated for? Still another 4 hours. With a full dosage, Chigara's going to be sound asleep for a full 8 hours. Suddenly Claude froze. Tee-hee. T-fucking-hee. Never mind. Doctor, what do you mean never mind? I've forgotten this timeline. I actually gave Chigara a half dosage of sleep pills. This is so that she would wake up early enough to consummate her love for her Catman the night before the final battle. Shields nearly collapsed at Claude's mistake. Okay, I'm surprised she didn't have a total freakout over to consummate with the captain, insinuating that happened in the other universe. In other words, that the Kato Shields that I'm playing as fucked Chigara. Which, you know, would have driven her mad. What do you mean you forgot? I thought you were supposed to be a god. Well, when you lived for as long as I have, there's just so much to remember. How could I be expected to recall such a tiny little detail like that? Then how much longer do we actually have until Chigara wakes up? Maybe till about now. As if on cue, Chigara sleepily opened her eyes. No. Cap. And I'm gonna end this episode here. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.